In this tutorial, we're going to be looking at how we can connect our ParcelForce accounts to our Magento system using an extension from Mad Capsule Media.
That's right. So for us to be able to sync ParcelForce and our Magento website together, so that what this means is that you can print your ParcelForce labels from your Magento website. We need an extension for Magento to do this. And Mad Capsule Media, which is a Bristol-based company, same city as where I'm based personally, have been and created an extension for this in Magento. We're joined with Mark from Mad Capsule, who's going to give us a quick overview to what the extension does, and is also going to be showing us how we can set this up within our, or in this case, your Magento website. So hi there, Mark. How you doing?
Hi there. All good, thanks. Thanks for having me.
Cool beans. So, Mark, before we dive in, for somebody who's never met you before, who is Mad Capsule Media and who's this chap called Mark?
Yeah, my name is Mark and I work for Mad Capsule. We develop integrations for various platforms, one of those being Magento. We create a fair few extensions, mainly aimed at saving people time and money processing, or like cutting out arduous processes out of their day-to-day jobs.
Oh yeah, I've got a good story to go with ParcelForce in a few moments now. ParcelForce and the Magento extension for ParcelForce isn't the only courier extension which you've got. You've got, DPD, we've got UK Mail, you've got Royal Mail DMO, Interlink. You've got quite a few, haven't you?
Yeah, we do. Those are a fair few of them. My mind goes blank, so yeah, we do have a fair few extensions.
Cool. So now this one's like a little personal story from here. I can still remember my partner, who's now my wife, Helen, is that when we had a ParcelForce contract, she had to, because I made her do it. Bit mean, I know. But every time that we had a ParcelForce order, she had to sit there on the ParcelForce website and type in the details. It was horrific. And this extension is going to allow us to just grab one or more orders from within Magento and send them across to ParcelForce and then be able to print our labels out. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. So stop you having to type them all in and stop mistakes.
Sweet. Okay, yeah, that manual typing brings back nightmares. Okay. So, Mark, for us to get up and running with ParcelForce and Magento, we're going to need a couple of things. So the first one, we need the Mad Capsule Media extension for ParcelForce, which we've got a discount code for you at the end of this tutorial. This extension works with both the Community Edition and the Enterprise Edition. Is that right?
Yeah, it works with both, yeah.
Excellent. And then for ParcelForce, we need something called an Express Link API enabled. Is that right?
Yeah, so you need your Express Link username, password, and your ParcelForce contract number. Your ParcelForce guys, your account manager, should be able to give them to you.
Excellent. So moving on to the installation of this extension, and that's what we're going to be showing you in this tutorial. We're going to show you how to install this extension, how to configure it, and also just running through the process of what you would do in your Magento system every single day. Now, just like any third-party extension for Magento, number one, you need to make a backup of Magento, and we've included a link to a backup tutorial underneath this video which will show you how to back up Magento in literally like 3.5 clicks, and you'll find out what the half click is about if you watch that tutorial. Next up, we need to disable the compiler in Magento, and if you have no idea what I'm talking about, then you probably don't need to disable it. Next up, we then need to unzip the files which Mark and his team would send you from Mad Capsule Media. Then we need to transfer those to our website. We're then going to clear out the caches. We're going to log out and log back in again. And then we're set to go and configure the extension so you can send your orders using ParcelForce from your Magento system. Now, Mark, there are some different modes with this extension. Can you just explain those to us?
Sure. So the three modes are manual mode, automatic mode, and automatic with mapping mode. So the manual mode, the merchant goes to each shipment in Magento and selects the shipping method in the ParcelForce shipping method that they want the consignment to be sent as, and then hit send to ParcelForce. The automatic mode uses a default shipping method that they've selected in the configuration, and every time they create a shipment in Magento, it will automatically be sent to ParcelForce with whichever shipping method they've set as the default shipping method.
Okay, so sorry, just to jump in there for a second. So that would be, so you've got manual, so that would be an ad hoc order. You just go in there, hit ship, choose the method, and off you go. The automatic method with a default is that every single order is going to be sent via ParcelForce 24 or ParcelForce 48. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, exactly. So whichever the default they've selected, every time they make a shipment, they create a shipment from an order in Magento, it will be sent straight to ParcelForce.
Cool. And then the last one, which we will have a separate tutorial to show you how to do this, not only for the ParcelForce extension, but the other extensions like Royal Mail DMO, Interlink, UK Mail, and all the other courier extensions which Mark and his team has got available, is that we've got a separate tutorial to show you how to do this one. And what's the other method?
Yeah, sure. So the automatic mapping mode allows you to, it works the same as the automatic with default mode, except instead of just using one shipping method, it allows you to map the order's shipping method, which is basically the Magento shipping method. So it could be called Map Super Saver Delivery, which obviously isn't a ParcelForce shipping method. You might want to map that to a 48 service because it's slightly cheaper. So any order that has Map Super Saver, you'd map to the 48, and then once for that order, when you hit ship in Magento, it will automatically send it to ParcelForce as a 48-hour delivery.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty sweet. We will show you how to set this up in a separate tutorial. Now, Mark, before we continue, I've just got 3 quick questions for you. Can we use this ParcelForce extension with any of the other courier extensions which you've got? Maybe we want to use Royal Mail DMO as well.
Yeah, all our extensions work with each other, so you can use as many or as few as you like together.
Excellent. Now, when it comes to those rules which we just mentioned about the mapping, are those rules run together or are they separate, so you can have separate rules between the extensions?
Yeah, so the rules are separate to each extension, so you can have rules in your D1 or your ParcelForce 1, and yeah, they map specifically for that courier.
Okay, so does this extension for ParcelForce, does that work with M2E Pro as well? So that's our orders from eBay and Amazon too?
Yeah, it works, yeah.
Happy days. Cool. So what we're going to do, we're going to jump across to our Magento system. And again, you're more than welcome to follow us along. If you've got the extension, then just follow us along. We'll show you how to set up. Now, if you don't have the ParcelForce extension just yet, at the very end of this tutorial, we've got a link which will take you straight to Mark and his team's website over at madcapsule.com. And we've also got a discount code just for the ParcelForce extension as well. And you'll be able to save 10% on this extension. So with that said, let's jump across to Magento and we'll catch up with you there in a few moments' time. So before we go off and install the extension, we just want to make sure that the compiler is disabled in Magento. And we can do that by going to System, Tools, and then Compilation. And what we need to just check for is where it says compiler status is make sure that that says disabled. Now, if it says enabled, you'll have a disable button on the top right hand corner, and click on that button so that you can see the compiler status as being disabled. And what we're going to do now, we're going to jump back to our desktop and show you how to get the extension installed. So we've been jumped across to our Magento system, and we're going to show you how to install the ParcelForce extension for Magento. So over on our desktop, we've been and downloaded the extension from Mad Capsule, and once you open up and unzip that file which you'll be sent, you'll have some files and folders which looks just like this on our screen. So you'll have a folder called app, you'll have another folder called skin, you'll have the license details, and you'll also have 2 PDF documents. And the first one's a user guide, and the second one is the installation instructions. Now, we're actually going to show you how to install this live with you right now. So let me just move that across to the left-hand side. Now, I have been in, and I've already been signed in via FTP. So we're using FileZilla, which was what we showed you how to set up in a much earlier tutorial. And we know that we're in the right folder for our Magento website, and I'm just going to highlight this on the screen for you. So if you see folders like app, downloader, errors, includes, and JS, then you are in the right folder for us to transfer these files across to our Magento website. So on the left-hand side, all I'm going to do is I'm going to click on app, I'm going to hold down the shift key, and then click on skin. So both of those folders are selected. Now I'm just going to left click and I'm going to drag and drop them to our FileZilla so we can FTP them up to our website. Now, a huge tip here is that you don't want to drag and drop them so it's going to go onto one of those folders like that, because if you do that, then it's going to go into a folder, and that's not what you want. So what we're going to do is that we're going to just pick up those two folders like so from our desktop, and we're just going to drag and drop them. And again, remember, you don't want them to go into any of the highlighted folders. Just put it into the white space on the right hand side and then let go, and within a few moments or so those files will be transferred. Now, while they're transferring, if you don't have enough space, just reorganize or resize these columns like so you get yourself some white space on the right hand side. So after you've been and uploaded your files, there's a couple of things which we must do, just like any extension with Magento, is that we need to go to System and then scroll down to Cache Management. On the left hand side, click on Select All and then press Submit on the right hand side. And that will take a few moments, and once it's finished your page will refresh, and then we just need to click these last two buttons up here. So where it says Flush Magento Cache, click that and wait for it to finish, which it has just done, and then Flush Cache Storage, and that will give you a pop-up window. So just click on OK on there and the page will reload. And the final step, which is the most important step, is that you must remember to click Log Out and then log back in to your Magento website. And if you don't do that, what will happen is that you'll end up getting 404 messages when you go into the admin and configuration section for Magento. So Mark, we've been and got this extension installed. Can you guide us in from here?
Sure. So once you've completed those steps, go to System and Configuration.
Like so.
Yeah, and on the left-hand side, if you scroll down to Sales, you should see a ParcelForce logo.
Cool. Logo, like it.
Yeah, click that one, and then you see all the settings that you can configure. So
let me just expand all those ones out like so. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to work top down on here. So let me just scroll my screen down a touch. And Mark, can you just walk us through these settings, please?
Yeah, sure. So the top settings are your ParcelForce account details, your ExpressLink username, your password, and your contract number, which if you're not sure of, you can get from your ParcelForce representative or account manager.
Excellent. Okay, now just a quick note here. We're not going to populate these details. So when we go to show you how to print an order either manually or in bulk within Magento, we're going to get some errors, and we're not going to be able to show you this actually working live because we don't have test or demo data which we can show you. But this really would work in real life. And again, if you don't have any ExpressLink details, then just as Mark said, contact your account manager. Or if you do run into any problems, Mark, this extension is supported as well by you and your team over there in Bristol, aren't they?
Of course, yeah. So, yeah, if they've got questions, just ask.
Excellent. Okay, so scrolling down into the general settings section, what do we do in here?
Okay, so they're fairly self-explanatory. The first one, live mode. So if you want to use it in obviously live mode or test mode, so whilst you're testing and checking, probably have that as no. But no, if that is set as no, no labels will be valid or collected. The next option is processing mode. These are the modes we talked about before, so the manual, automatic modes.
Okay, so just for this one, do we set ours up manual or automatic with default?
For this one, we can do automatic with default.
Okay, excellent. And then parcel weight, what's this?
So parcel weight is what you've got your products in Magento set as, are they in grams or kilos?
Okay, well I know ours is set in grams, so we've got that set as grams. And default delivery service, what's this?
So this is the service that will be used if you're using automatic with default mode. So every consignment will be sent to ParcelForce using this shipper method.
Okay. So I guess just if we were to do Express 48?
Yeah, that would, yeah.
Cool beans. And available delivery services?
Yeah, so these are the possible services that ParcelForce provide. Any that you select will be available to you through our extension. Obviously with the automatic default mode it's kind of a moot point, but if you're using manual mode or automatic mapped mode, you need to select all the services you plan on using.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so what I've been and done, I've just held down the control key and I've been and clicked on Express 24 and Express 48. And again, just like Mark said, it's these settings are going to be void because we've just set up to automatically set it with the default Express 48. But we've got a separate tutorial how to do the more complex route so that you can match the shipping methods which the customer has been chosen to actual delivery services within Magento, so that will get automatically matched. And we've got a separate tutorial on that for you. And then scrolling down, we've got some extra settings in here, Mark. What are these ones for?
Sure. So notification settings. These are so if you select tracking email, once the tracking number is received back from ParcelForce, an email will be sent from the Magento store, just informing the customer that their item's been shipped, and given them the tracking number that they can track it with.
Cool. And that's a separate template within the email template section within Magento.
Yeah. So there's a template they can edit if they want to change the look of the tracking email.
Cool. ParcelForce notification. Oh, they can do email and SMS as well. Is that right?
Yeah, sure. So if you select one of these, it will ask ParcelForce to notify the customer via either email or SMS of the consignment. So it will give them the tracker number and information on the consignment.
Excellent. Oh, we got some international settings in here.
Yeah, so these are default international settings for people. So if these go on your export notes if you're exporting internationally. So export VAT number, which you will know if you export internationally. The purpose of the shipment, so this will be applied to all international shipments, as we find most people use the same purpose. Gift is a good one because it means people don't have to pay tax. The receiver doesn't pay the tax.
Yeah, that's why I was leaving it on there.
Yeah. Package content detail. These are like a summary of what would be in an international consignment. So if you're an outdoor sports company, you probably put outdoor goods or outdoor sporting goods or something. And country manufacturer, which is the ISO 2 code for your country manufacturer. Finally, the currency, the 3-letter currency code. These are not mandatory, so it would only be for people dealing with a lot of exports, probably.
Okay, that's fair enough. Well, it was good to see those settings are there. So I presume that probably wasn't in version 1, and a customer's been and requested that?
Actually, the customer that we originally built this for was quite a big international shipper, so...
Oh, wow, so it's been in there since version 1. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, there's that shipping method mapping box. Now, we're not going to cover that with you. If you do want to automatically map your Magento orders to specific service codes for ParcelForce, so if the customer does choose a specific shipping method on your website and you want to map that to 24 or 48, then you can do this in this mapping box, and there's 2 links there. There's a mapping guide and also a list to the ParcelForce service codes. Now, we're not going to show you how to set that up in this tutorial. The reason being is that not only just for this ParcelForce extension, but for any of the other extensions which are available from Mark and his team over at Mad Capsule, is that these codes kind of work in the same way. So if you can do it for Royal Mail DMO, or you can do it for ParcelForce or DPD on here, then you can do it for all of the different couriers. And we're going to wrap that up into a separate tutorial for you as well. Now, you do have some log settings at the bottom. And I know from a previous tutorial, which we did, Mark, you mentioned that you probably want to leave that set to no. Is that right?
Yeah, so it's really for developers and debugging. Yeah, if you do set it to yes, just make sure you set it to no when you go live. Otherwise, you can end up with massive amounts of logs, depending on how much you ship.
Excellent. Okay, so if you've been following us along and been put your actual details in there, if you scroll back up to the top or just hit Save Config up here in the top right-hand corner, then that's it. There's your details set. Now, Mark, can you show us how to ship an individual order within Magento, and also how we can bulk process orders as well, if you could, please?
Yeah, sure. So you'd go to your sales order screen.
So we've been to come across to our sales order screen. So just like what you would do in real life, is that you would come in here and change the status to processing and then hit search. So you've only got the orders in front of you, which you need to actually go and process and create the shipments for. Now, let's do one by itself, if we may, first, Mark. So
yeah,
let's
sure,
go. click
Okay.
into an order.
Yep, so click into an order to ship it.
Excellent. And we go and click the ship button at the top.
Yep.
Like so. And just hit submit shipment on the right hand side.
Yep.
Okay. So that was order number 14. There we go. Now, we have been and received this red error message at the top of our screen. And the reason for that is that we didn't put we didn't put any details in the configuration settings. Now, you wouldn't have got that red message at the top of your screen if you've been and put in real details into your Magento system. Now, we're just going to ignore that, and so we can show you how the process would actually work. Now, we've been and created a shipment. Would that automatically have been sent to ParcelForce, Mark?
Yeah, so in place of that message, you would receive a message, assuming there's no authentication problem, saying that the shipment successfully been received by ParcelForce. ParcelForce then returns a tracking number, which gets added to the shipment, which would be displayed if you scroll down slightly on that page. It would be displayed under your shipping and handling information section. There's also a label saved for it in Magento, which we could look at in a second.
Oh, cool. Yeah, this is just a PDF document which we can print out onto our label printer, is that right?
Yeah, so it works in the same way that Magento invoices and shipping notes work. So you'd be able to see it under the sales menu.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we go to sales. Oh, we got a new section in here, ParcelForce labels.
Yeah.
Ace.
So any new consignments or any new labels that haven't been printed yet will show up under labels awaiting printing.
Now we're going to go in there, and we're not going to have that there because we don't have the details in there. But just a quick note there: if we've got 20 labels in there waiting to be printed, we can print them all in one go.
Yeah, so you select as many as you need, and then hit print, and then those labels will show up under the complete labels link, the bottom link there. In addition, the failed labels displays any failed attempts to contact ParcelForce, or common ones tend to be the address was wrong, like the postcode wasn't a postcode or something like that. So with those, you would change whatever the offending problem was. Put in a city because the city wasn't populated, and then under this screen you can just go to the action drop down box and go to retry.
And then that will send it back to ParcelForce.
It will retry, yeah.
And retry, and of course once it's been successful, and again we know what customers are like putting the information in. Again, just from my own personal experience, you could sit there, type in all the information in, and you make a typo and you just fill the information out. Anyway, you hit retry, it'll go across, we'll get the tracking information back, and we can then print our shipments out from, let me get this right, sales, ParcelForce labels, and then labels awaiting printing, and we would print them all out from in there as well.
Yep.
So that's where we can print out our labels from ParcelForce, and again that would just be a PDF document which we can tell to go to the Zebra label printer, and then it will go crazy and spill them out for us. So Mark, for us to be able to print lots and lots of ParcelForce labels, we need to go in and create shipments within Magento. Now we've kind of got two options. We can either go in orders one by one and press the ship button, or if you're using the Ship Easy extension from Magento, that's got an extra little feature in here. Now I'm just going to tick one order in this instance, which is this order on the left-hand side. And from the actions menu, if you drop that down and scroll down to SE ship, and what that will do is that it will create the shipments in Magento. So I'm going to click on submit on there, and what it will do, it will go and create the shipment. Now, once that's been done, if you then change the status to shipped and then hit search, is that what's actually going on in the background is the Ship Easy extension has been and created the shipments for you, so that when you go to sales, ParcelForce, and then labels waiting to be printed, is that those shipments will be there, and then you'll be able to batch print those out. So if I jump back to the original system where we got the ParcelForce extension set up, is that if we go to sales, ParcelForce, and then labels awaiting printing, that's where you're going to have all of the orders or all the shipments which we've just been created a shipment for available in there. And we can then, once we got the details back from ParcelForce, we can then print out all of our labels on our label printer, and then ultimately mark those orders off as being shipped.
In this tutorial, we looked at how we can use an extension from Mad Capsule Media to connect our ParcelForce courier accounts with our Magento system.
And we had a brief introduction to Mark from Mad Capsule Media. And again, Mark, thank you for joining us this afternoon. It was really appreciated. We then saw the process for installing the ParcelForce extension into Magento, and we did note that there's some different modes available to use in this extension and again any of the other extensions for shipping from Mad Capsule Media, and we will show you the advanced route to set up your own mapping rules as well in a separate tutorial for you as well. We also saw how we could then go on and configure our Magento website to use ParcelForce and put the settings in. And a quick note there is that we saw that we can send them individually by creating a shipment, but we can also ship multiple orders within Magento using the Ship Easy extension within Magento, so that we can create multiple shipments and then create lots and lots of ParcelForce labels. Now, we weren't able to show you the labels, and to be honest, courier labels are kind of boring. They've just got a big sticky barcode on them and the customer's address. Now, that's because we didn't have live details to show you. Now, Mark, if someone does have a problem setting up their ParcelForce extension, are you able to help them? I presume support's included with the extension?
Yeah, of course. We offer support, email and phone. Also, we do offer to set up the extension and install it for people if they wish. There's a small fee for it. It's up to them. But yeah, the support's covered, of course.
Excellent. Fantastic. Now, if you would like the ParcelForce extension for Magento, if you go to understandinge.com/get-pf, so Papa Foxtrot, and you'll be transferred straight across to the madcapsule.com website. Now, if you enter the discount code UEPF in the checkout, then you're going to save 10% on that extension. Again, a quick note there, it is UEPF and it will only work for the ParcelForce extension from Mad Capsule Media, and it will give you a 10% off your order. So, Mark, thank you ever so much for being able to show us around this extension. Really appreciated.
No worries.
So for myself, Matt.
And me, Dave.
And me, Mark.
Thank you for joining us. We'll catch you soon. Cheerios.